bottle of water or Coke.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on. Though policemen continue to display misconduct in the discharge of their duties, it is gratifying to note that such behaviors are met with punishment. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, has summoned the officers who used a vehicle to run over a handcuffed man in a viral video in Ekwoma, Edo State. In a statement, the police spokesperson, Olukayode Egbetokun, said the IGP condemned the act, adding that the errant police officers have been asked to report to the force headquarters on Monday. The victim was handcuffed by a team of officers attached to the Ekwoma Police Division over his refusal to allow them to go through his mobile phones. Before we discuss this issue, let's share this story with you.
October 2020, the country witnessed a nationwide protest by youths calling for an end to police brutality, extortion, harassment, and unlawful arrests. 3 years down the line, it appears some officers and men of the police force have gone back to their vomits. These angry youths condemned the incident and called for justice.
Dehumanizing the characters of citizens that are living in Umudumu in particular, because I will encourage the police to talk to their men and see a way of stopping this unwarranted attitudes of the policemen in Ekwoma, because they have done so many havocs, breaking into people's compounds. Police in particular, most of them, they are the nuisance that are supposed to be eradicated in the community.
How can you say you are a policeman, you came to arrest somebody? The same person you arrest left the vehicle where you kept him, and he was lied down on the road, and you match it.
They should give them orientation. They should educate them. When you go to arrest someone, you are under arrest. The person will follow you to your station. Then you address your issue. Not that you will come to meet somebody, you say, okay, you are under arrest. Okay, you handcuff the person. You will be beating the person, be molesting the person. Because you are a policeman, you are using police gun, a thing like that. It's not ideal.
Responding, police hierarchy in the state say the 7 officers involved in the act have been taken into custody for possible investigation and prosecution.
The information gathered from the police was that they were not aware that he laid on the floor. And eventually, their vehicle ran over him. The CP condemned their actions and described it as barbaric, inhuman, and unprofessional. There were a team of policemen, 7 in number, 7, name withheld as the investigation is ongoing.
The yet-to-be-identified victim of the incident is currently receiving treatment in the hospital. Paul Ezenwa, TVC News, Ekwoma, Edo State.
I mean, this is another pathetic story coming out from the police force. But one question I think the Nigerian police still needs to answer is, why does the leadership of the force give a directive and the men on the streets always go against this directive? What exactly is happening?
Well, I think it's just that they care more about their pockets than doing the right things. When this news filtered in, one of the reports that came in, you would have even heard it from those that were interviewed, was that those guys in Ekwoma, they become a thorn in the flesh of the people. And their targets, usually, young people using expensive phones, so-called expensive phones, because some of them may not be, especially now that the value of the naira against the dollar has made everything expensive. Some of them, one of the reports has it that they confiscate the phones, take them to a forest to extort them, when they would have told them they were taking them to station. They also said, that report also said, they no longer use POS operators to retrieve money or collect money from their victims. Rather, what they have done is to open different accounts on the platform of one of the mini banks that usually only demand for your telephone number to open an account.
Okay.
So they've just gone ahead to open different accounts. Not even in Nigeria where some of us have the four major lines. So they've done that across those mini banks that make you. So where you have people who don't care, if you look at it, in the last 1 year, so many of them have been dismissed. So many. Even an incident here in Lagos where...
Well, it looks like dismissal is no longer a big deal.
Yes, it's not a big deal for them because, like we found out over the years, they still find their way back into the force. That's what makes it not a big deal. They still find their way back. Because there is usually you don't have a means of checking some of these things. There is no database. There is no record. You say this man has committed an offense. A lot of things people get away with. One man was caught in Akwa Ibom for killing his son. The same man committed the same offense in Lagos, killed somebody. He has committed the same offense in Abia State. Why is that man on the move? If you ask. So if the man was not caught and brought in for questioning, nobody would have known he committed such an offense in other places. And he's there on the streets, moving, because there are no records to say this man is a criminal. So that's the same thing that happens in the force. You may find these guys now, maybe going to join the Navy, the Army, or another military or paramilitary, and life continues. And the same attitude in them. Lawson. You can imagine the one that stole the rifle of his colleague and took it home to go and hide under his mattress and raised an alarm that his colleague, his own rifle, he went to hide it in his own house and raised an alarm that his colleague stole the rifle. So when they were looking for it and searched the houses of all others who were involved, who were on duty that day, thank God for the Deputy Commissioner of Police who said, okay, you raise the alarm, go to his house, and they found it under his own mattress, a policeman. Meaning that what he wanted to do was to take that rifle to himself and possibly sell it. So those are the kind of characters that you still find on the road as policemen. These are things that we need to deal with. There was a time when the NSAS came and the police said it was going to conduct various tests. What has become of it? We have not had that based on that test. Some people have been dismissed for having drugs in their system. Some people have been dismissed for psychotic behavior. Nothing. Once something happens, we complain, we shout, we do this, and then it dies down, waiting for the next victim. It's pathetic, and I think
so, Mr. Dade, to be very honest, this is another story that may die down. Because I know that the first spokesperson and the former IGP have constantly talked about, have said that no policeman has the right to check your phone, except if such a phone is marked as an exhibit in a pending case before a court of law.
The police have said this over and over and over again. This is just a clear case of extortion. When somebody is holding a telephone, then you want to see what is inside. And the phone is an ancestry of so many. Internet is there. You can discover so many things there that do not even belong to the owner of that phone. And this thing has been ongoing for some time. If this had happened in the United States, we'll be talking about racism. This is black man to black man. And I'm appalled by the excuse of the police that, excuse me, the driver didn't know that somebody was lying down. If your car rides on an object, you should know. Even a small stone, not to talk of a human being. So this idea of the police trying to defend wrong conduct in a tactical way gives us a lot of worry about the character of the police itself. And I think we need to concern ourselves about recruitment of people into the police force. What kind of people do we recruit into the police force? Is it a situation where one senator will just send 10 names? When he gets there, He's loyal to the senator. He believes the police commissioner cannot do anything to him. Or an MI, an Oba, Obi, will just give recommendation. He's Obi's boy. He's Oba's boy. He's MI's boy. Nothing can happen to him. When they commit an offense, you transfer him, nothing happens. Then what kind of training are we giving to our policemen? Is it one-off training? Do we give them psychological training? Do we give them reorientation? Demilitarization? Then what is the kind of, how frequent is the kind of training we give our policemen? I cannot imagine a policeman hiding in a vehicle and then you climb on top of a human being. That could have led to violent uprising. The people could have risen up, attacked policemen, and if we have not seen this video, they will have been denied. They won't deny nothing like that happened.
I mean, they even said that the man was driving an unregistered car. He resisted arrest, allegedly inflicted injuries on the officers, and destroyed a police vehicle.
Why that kind of defense? I know my worry is that you understand the IG summoned them to Abuja. That also raises fundamental questions about the structure of discipline. If somebody commits an offense in Chicago, should he be invited to Washington, D.C.? There should be a mechanism of discipline. If somebody commits an offense in Ekpoma, on anywhere, Ihiala, there should be a standard measure of discipline. Not until you have to invite him to come to Abuja. So there is a CP there, there's AIG. What are they doing? Must they go to Abuja before they are disciplined? So I think we need to be worried because where you don't have a police force that is disciplined, there's no way you can enjoy public confidence. When you are looking for criminals, people will hide them in order to seek revenge against you. Because they realize that 2 weeks ago, I was beaten by a policeman, my brother was killed. Why should I support you when you are looking for criminals? So we want to see, this is the first test for the IG. That started well. He met with the CPs, he met with the IGs, he has come with a policy direction. This is the first test for him. We want to see these policemen disciplined. We want to see sanctions imposed on them to serve as presidents. You said whether we are going to bury this case. It depends on the media, not the police alone. The media and human rights organizations must keep a tap on this case and ensure that we bring it to front burner until justice is done.
So quickly before we go, I mean, he just mentioned the fact that the new IGP has a lot of work to do. They said he would have to focus on attitudinal and behavioral changes of these officers. How important is this?
Very, very, very important. It's key. And in doing that, he must be aware, like Nigerians have told him, that some of the issues he said he will tackle in office. We also had those promises by his...
I was going to say that.
Yeah, we had those promises by those who came before him. So until we see concrete action, not just promises, we won't be able to trust him. Because like Mr. Dewey said, it's a matter of trust now. We need to believe in our police force. We are not just, you shouldn't tell us that the police is your friend. We want to feel that the police is my friend. It happens. And these guys, because I was appalled by what the public relations officer in Edo State said, that he himself should even ask the question, is the guy an ant that you will be pushing a old man being with the vehicle and trying to ride over him, and then you are saying, I tell them when I'm chance to meet with, whether it's CP, see, it's good you believe your officers, but at the same time, you yourself go on the road, especially at night, and see what happens. They tell a lot of lies. They tell a lot of lies. And that's why you see some Nigerians, they have cameras in their vehicles now. Because it helps a lot. Somebody, you can see this is what has happened, and then you are turning it because you're already in the office, you couldn't extort the man, and then you now turn it into a lie.
This is a very
So those are the things that we need to quickly change, so that the officers who sit in the office don't just listen to their story and say, because he's my colleague, esprit de corps, is the one I'm going to believe. Those guys lie a lot.
I mean, we'll continue.